we're going to be going over BetterHelp. The YouTube virus is back. Now, little backstory, at least with that, at least on my end. So Twitch and stuff for me is very new for me. I've been doing this for about, I'd say 3 years for streaming. And hold on 1 minute. I forgot to do something. And let me tell you something. But I've been watching a lot of YouTube for since the dawn of time. I didn't do much like streaming, but watching videos, that's, you know, my bread and butter. And BetterHelp is something I've been seeing around for a long time. And again, little context, I am like right there, so very close to a my degree for psychology. I'm going to be doing a lot of mental health stuff for people, mainly for kids a little bit later. So when I saw this BetterHelp thing, I was like, I wonder how good it is. It's pretty much for the most part like therapy online. So if you want my personal opinion with it, especially for someone that has been going to school for this for quite some time, I'd say go in person. Being able to find somebody that can kind of, you know, work with you, be able to actually see your body actions, your moments, your movement, how you talk, how you speak. Because a lot of people think that they can have a lot of therapy online. Hell, from what I've learned from the streaming sphere is that a lot of people think that their streamer is a therapist. That is not true. And even if your streamer is legitimately a therapist, almost, I'd still recommend you probably go in. Just saying. You know, someone may have a couple of 2 cents that might actually be, you know, pretty helpful, pretty decent. But let me tell you, being able to work with someone like, you know, someone that is trained maybe for a few years, kind of a big deal, But anyway, I've been yapping for too much as we normally do. So let me go ahead and get started. Let me see. Oh, also, by the way, this is from Fraudulent. We've actually watched a couple of videos from them. Very good channel. Very good channel. If I remember correctly, they used to do guides and stuff for like video games. I think it was like The Division, I want to say. That's actually when I first saw them. I could be wrong, but I think that's where I saw them first. I want to say, actually making me think. I want to say yes, because I used to play a lot of looter shooters back in the day. I almost want to say that's where I saw him. Yeah, his content's really good. And plus he has a really nice voice. It's a really nice voice. I love being able to, you know, maybe listen to someone that kind of like soothes me. Yep, it was during The Division 1. That's actually when I first saw him. He used to do guys. I used to like it. All right, let's see.
Fitting given the subject matter. Stick around to hear more about the special offer they're
Perfect.
providing to the entire upper echelon community.
It's going to be a little
What
laggy,
is
at least on my side for the
BetterHelp?
YouTube stuff, because I have no idea why. I have to
Odds
fix
are
that.
a
I
lot
think
of
there
people
might
watching
be
this have
something I have to
actively
update. I'm
seen
not too sure.
advertisements for the service here on YouTube, maybe Facebook or elsewhere, loosely understanding it to be an online therapy application.
When I first saw this, I thought this was going to be something like very nice, actually. Something that I was like, okay, like I like that they're, you know, sponsoring something that's supposed to help you, you know? But then again, to be fair, as the years have been going on, I've been on the internet a little bit more. The last, you know, last 3-4 years, I've been really delving into a lot of this, meeting a lot of people online. And something that I've realized is that a lot of people do a lot of self-diagnosis, a lot of things where they think they have a lot of issues. Maybe someone says they have like a problem, and I feel like a lot of companies, a lot of people, especially online, they tend to, what's the word? Kind of like a predator. They just like attack you on that. Because when you feel low, they pretty much, why am I forgetting the word? Forgive me, I didn't get very much sleep last night. Or maybe too much sleep. But they pretty much attack on your weakness. Exploit it. Thank you, Chad. But yeah, so it's stuff that at first, when I first saw this, I never really looked into it too much. Because again, I am all about more personal kind of therapy. But I thought this might be a good thing, but it doesn't really seem like it is, at least from what I've been hearing a lot of.
Professionals. Pretty simple. The ads paint a picture of something
How's that sound,
kind,
by the way, Chad? Fine?
approachable, and the sponsorships they authorize talk about how burnout is a really
Let
difficult
me turn up just a little
process,
bit.
and how help is just a few clicks away. But with tens of millions of dollars pouring into the YouTube ecosystem,
There it is.
hundreds and
Maybe that's a little
hundreds
bit
of
better.
videos promoting the service, and a rapidly growing list of creators affiliated
Good?
with them,
Perfect.
I wanted to examine the full scope of this service because it's not
He looks so mad. He looks so mad. He just stare there. Like, I wonder when they make these like commercials, they're like, okay, so I need you to stare at the camera and don't say anything. Because you know they have to have these little actors like pop in. Not bad.
not
Not
quite what
bad.
people think it is, and prospective customers need to be aware of that. To do this, we need to go back in time. 2018 was
Never
many
really
things,
seen any of
some
their
good,
commercials.
some
The only kind of commercials I've seen is YouTubers. And that was something that I thought about too, was I was like, anytime that I see a lot of, how should I say, advertising stuff, usually from YouTube channels and everything. A lot of the times I don't really, maybe this is wrong, but I always think to myself like, hey, maybe this isn't as good of a product as I think it might be. Good example. I've heard that HelloFresh, not that great. Like in the sense of like the company's not the best. I know that they were pushing that a lot on a lot of people. That's just something I've heard. I've actually never done any sponsors like with them. Another one was Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends. You see that on everything. Again, you know, you make your money. Clearly, you do your thing. But it's just one of those things where anytime that I see tons of advertisement, at least from a lot of YouTubers, something that I've noticed is usually just a lot of companies like, oh, you have a bunch of people watching you. Here you go. I don't want to say it's like a joke, but like, I don't know. It just, I tend to not take it as seriously. Am I wrong for that? I have no idea.
In today's video, 2018 was the time frame when BetterHelp initially found traction on the platform by sponsoring a very large number of YouTube creators.
Yep. See, this is all OG YouTube. And this is something that I can at least relate with. Like I said, not really much with the streaming, but on the YouTube side of things, I've been watching videos for a long time, So when I see stuff like this, I'm like, okay, this is stuff that I've just been seeing for a while. And then when I don't hear from it anymore, I just assume that the company is not there anymore.
These creators would very often talk about how valuable the service is. They would draw connections to their own personal lives or express their own struggles, which is fine. People can promote things that they also believe in.
And that's something that I feel like we do decently well, at least on my stream. Again, I will always tell people to go out in the world, go find somebody. And I know it can be a little expensive. Like I use my insurance from the military, or at least I did. Now I do more of like a private business, at least kind, since, you know, now that I am retired. But point is that I know it can be a little bit pricey for some, but at the same time, there is always a way when you need some assistance. It just might be a little bumpy, but it's always better when you actually go in for it. I think for like the hardest step for a lot of people is the first step, clearly. Getting there, realizing you may have a bit of an issue, and then going from there. So that tends to be the first hard step. And that's something that I've been learning as was going through school for like all of this. It is, the first step is breaking the ice, I like to say, and understanding like, hey, I might have an issue. I might have a problem. I mean, I've had to do that a couple of times. I have my military PTSD. I have insomnia. I have my bad insomnia. You can just ask my chat from all last week. It was it was something. Let's just say that. But anyway, moving on with that.
There was a bit of a discrepancy between what was being said about the company and what users
I can't believe
were
we did the 224 hours. That was a mess.
Anecdotal evidence is overly abundant here, but the gist of it then, and still today now, is that many users were complaining about unnecessary fees, difficulty canceling subscriptions,
of course,
or problems with the service.
Wasn't there something like this too with there was something that YouTubers are doing about the it was a site where you can learn things. Even though I think to myself, it was like, you can just go on YouTube and learn stuff, but they would charge you all the time. And then they would hide like prices and stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about? It was a learning one, not Brilliant. No, that one's Spanish, the Duolingo. Trying to remember. It was something learning. Skillshare. That's what it was. It was Skillshare. I heard some bad stuff about Skillshare. So with that being said, I feel like it's something very, very, very similar, except just like a different thing. Clearly, it's like they always found ways to like, hey, you know, we're going to charge you for this and this, and they're going to make it very hard for you to actually cancel. A lot of places do that. A lot of just in general, a lot of businesses do that overall. It could be really messy. It could be really fucking messy.
Service that left them completely unsatisfied.
I know I have fallen for
As an
like
example,
some of that
users
from time
who
to time.
actively subscribed to the platform often had enormous difficulty canceling that subscription.
Yep,
They
exactly.
were repeatedly required to confirm their intentions and faced with things like this. Typically, when you go to buy,
I've had a few of these sites where they're like, there's multiple. Be like, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? It's like, hey, last shot. And I'm like, Jesus, yes, just cancel. That shit is so annoying. So annoying.
buy something or cancel something. Green means yes, do the thing I'm trying to do.
Usually,
and red means
green
no,
means go.
I changed my mind. Also, buttons to the left typically denote cancellation or go back, and buttons on the right signal confirmation or go forward.
Seems pretty, cut and
BetterHelp,
dry.
even though this is a relatively small item in the grand scheme of things for the video, would pretty blatantly try to trick their customers into hitting the green button on the right, which would then actually halt the process of cancellation, because the goal wasn't convenience or satisfaction. The goal was to manipulate their user base into remaining on the platform
doesn't look terrible, at least on this one, but I think a lot of sites will go and be like, hey, they'll try to like confuse you. So when you think you've done it, kind of find out that you've been getting charged for a while. I did bring up the Skillshare thing, or couldn't remember the name, but like I think I did subscribe to it once upon a time just to see what it was about. And like I thought to myself one time, I think I did it for like the month. It was like, you know, the month free trial. And here's the thing. I could have sworn that I canceled everything, and they charged me for at least an extra 6 months. And when I told them like, hey, I thought I canceled this, like I haven't used it, clearly you can look at my like history, and they said, well, we can't do that for you. So they just pretty much took like 6 months out of me. But that was like years ago. That was years ago. You know me, I love to learn. I like to try out brand new things, so I'm never one to be like, oh, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, definitely got scammed up on that. But like, listen, that was, at least to me personally, what was that, like back in 2017, 2016, I can't remember. But it was one of those things where things were still really fresh, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a shot. I'm gonna give this a shot, see if I like it. And they really will try to find a way to make it so that you are paying consistently or try to trick you. So it's 100% correct. This one doesn't seem that bad though,
which would then continue to rack up charges even in their absence. So
that's how I feel too. Nothing pisses me off more when I'm wasting like hundreds of dollars and I can't get it back. And it's like, it's the whole thing with the subscriptions and not knowing that like you have a bunch out there, even though you think you did it already. You think you did it. That's why nowadays I like check my bank account, be like, okay, what is this? Even it's just me getting old and getting really picky, like, that looks awfully strange. I just worry now because listen, my money, listen, I try to make it so that I have as much as I possibly can, clearly, not only for new models and new stuff, but also so I can, you know, give back to the community and just do more things from y'all. So, because I have enough to live, bills, etc., but I like to be able to be creative and fancy, and sometimes that costs a little bit, especially for you guys, even though I probably buy everyone's sub on here, but that's besides the point.
Something else we can look at to kind of help
also,
showcase
I like that
this
beanie.
is that even last year, that being 2023,
It looks a little bit like Asmon if he had a little bit shorter hair.
$93 million in refunds, which constituted 8%.
Well, I'm glad somebody got refunds. I literally just brought that up. I was like, listen, I wasn't able to get no refunds. I wasn't allowed to get no refunds. So they gave back 93 million. I can only imagine how much money that looks like. I bet you that'll be like, you know how like Breaking Bad was? If anyone had a chance to watch that, and they're in that like warehouse with all of that money. I feel like that's what that is. That's what that is.
Of their entire revenue stream. It's difficult to find direct comparisons.
Also, do you see that? The amount's about 8% of the company's revenue. Now, I ain't gonna do no math. Listen, my brain is dead. My brain is just a little dead. We, you know, had a very long week last week. So, but just imagine that. That's only 8%. Chat, that is only 8%. So 93 million times, what is that? You know, I'm not even going to try. But that's a lot. That is a lot. It has to be like they're in like the billions for profit. Has to be.
But it's worth noting that the number of people who actually pursue
so that was a hidden ad that like you fell for. Yeah, you know, probably.
Is substantially lower.
I just thought
than the
maybe it would be something that I can actually learn something from, and I never did. I took a couple of like their little courses there, and it was, you want to know the worst part about it was that there was always better videos on YouTube. And that was my thing too, is that I learned how, even though I don't do it as much anymore, but I learned how to play my guitar, do drums, singing, a bunch of other stuff that I don't do as much on YouTube. And that was something that I was like, oh, like you can learn so much for free. So I thought maybe, you know, a site that's specifically meant for learning, I might be able to, you know, get a little something out of it. And alas, wasn't it was a learning experience. Let's just say that.
You don't have to look very far to start finding many
more
clues about what kind of company this actually is, but try this one on for size. After a pretty horrifying tragedy took place at a festival called Astro World in Houston.
Jesus. I remember that. What was that from? Like Travis Scott. Like that whole stuff was a fucking mess. That shit was a fucking mess. Like I am surprised that he got away with that without even going like, well, if I remember correctly, wait, was it his fault or was it the venue's fault for that? I'm surprised somebody didn't go off to jail. I mean, maybe they did. I have no idea. Maybe they did. Yeah, the crushing thing where people got crushed and died. Well, I'm sure he'll explain it. Watch. If I can ever press my buttons correctly.
Houston, there's a 1,200-page police report about what happened, which is pretty chilling, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But the gist of it is that a hyped-up crowd compressed in on itself at a concert, and multiple...
Be careful at music festivals. Trust me, I used to love going to like concerts and stuff. I think the last one I went to was it's such a long time ago. I think it was an Odd Future concert. Tells you how old I am. But like, I wanted to go over to like a Slipknot concert, System of like a Down. Those were the ones I was trying to go for, and let me tell you, those can get wild. Don't ever get inside that mosh pit unless you want to get punched in the face. But that's besides the point. Be careful.
People died as a result of that. After that tragedy
Multiple
occurred,
people died.
BetterHelp partnered up with Travis Scott, who many believe to be partially responsible despite managing to avoid criminal charges.
They said, predatory. They said, hey, I noticed that, a lot of people died at your show. You want to work with me? You want to want to make some money? Want to work off of this tragedy? Like, that to me is predatory, like crazy. Especially since you damn well know they're just going to do something like, some entry level fee of like, hey, this is for free. Y'all can come in. And then they're just going to start charging people. Like, and people are going to forget, and it's just going to be a mess. It just fucks with people. That is predatory. That is predatory at its finest.
And offered a free month of online
therapy. Stay away from them freaking mosh pits. You will get that.
Yeah, the subpar remote therapist application.
I know, an Odd Future is so old now. They're not even there anymore. Just Tyler, which I love Tyler. He's so good.
Showing how much they care together by basically giving you 4 free telehealth sessions on an application.
You want to know what I hate? Predatory people that will try to work off people's weaknesses. When people are low and they're down, people like this will be like, hey, by the way, we will help you. But it's always for some kind of beneficial gain. And you know what? Again, not calling people out or anything else, but there's a lot of people that I've seen in the streaming sphere, everywhere, in real life streaming sphere, where people will manipulate to be able to get what they want. It is very sad. It's very sad. There's a lot of people out there that are struggling out there, And I don't want to say it's just because people have being stupid. It's the stupidity. Some people just are going through a rough time. And some people really work on that, and it's unfortunate. I really hate that, really, so very much. Again, as an almost therapist, stuff like that really it burns. Makes you very angry.
That breaches your privacy and tries to keep you trapped in a cycle of pain.
Exactly. Profiting off of others is misery. Guys. But that's a very common thing nowadays, if you really think about it. Very common, even though I wish it wasn't.
Job. On top of this, as if that's not already enough to form a judgmental opinion of them, there was a bit of a problem with their terms of service. According to archives, their TOS previously...
Nobody reads the terms of fucking service, but let me tell you, nowadays I'm almost like, hey, do it. Do it, unless you're especially if it's something that you don't know, you've never seen. This is something that's really fresh. Give it a shot. But then again, I know a lot of the TOS. I don't even be reading. Listen, I don't know nothing about the Twitch TOS. Apparently, I'm good for now. Okay, maybe I know a few things, but I'm good. I'm good at least for now. No one's given me my vacation yet. But listen, it's right there. I'm sure.
Contained a segment which said, quote, "We do not control the quality of the counselor services, and we do not determine whether any counselor is qualified to provide any specific..."
Not qualified. They said, hey, by the way, even though this is a service for, mental health and, places where you're going to have somebody who's going to be a therapist, they may not be qualified therapists. That could be okay, I'm just going to pick a random name, Miguel or Milk or Matthew. You could be a part of this and be like, I'm a certified therapist. Are you though? It's are you though? I think not. It's, to me, is wild. It's wild. But yeah, it's shit like that where you're like, wow. So I don't even know, this part specifically, how can you run a business and not have somebody what would they say? Audit? No. I feel like auditing is when you're stealing money. I guess technically speaking, you could have it like that. And somebody reads that and they're like, no, fix that. And they're like, no, fix that. So I don't know. To me, that sounds criminal. Yes, exactly. The quality control. Somebody has to be looking in. Let's just say you're running an automotive shop, and you may have people in there that are just doing whatever, and they're just like, yep, good to go. This puppy is ready to go. It's like, no, bitch. Like, how? When? You would hope that the business just dies off already, but apparently not. Apparently not. Because at least from my understanding, sorry, I'm going to pause every 20 seconds. I've been seeing this for years and years and years. So apparently, clearly, it's still here. So you're telling me out of all these years, this shit is still going on. Sounds like their legal team isn't qualified either. Apparently so. Like, I've been an engineer for the military for like 12 years. I have my license. I have everything. But you could be like someone trying to do my job and has never done all the schooling that I did. So it'd be like, yep, qualified. Boom. Then again, sometimes the military just be like, hey, you're good to go. It's like, no, bitch, you don't even know. You haven't even done one day. It can be crazy. It can be crazy.
Now, that particular passage has since been removed, obviously. But it further demonstrates that the company has a
They said, we're just gonna hide that. Just push that underneath the rug. It's like when your fucking puppy takes a shit and you're just like, let's just hide that because I don't want to clean it. Because I don't want to clean it.
Stable foundation with the public when it comes to common perception. And their chosen tactic to remedy this is just lots of money.
Money, ladies and gentlemen. The most evilest thing in the fucking world, but yet at the same time, the thing that cleans up everything. The thing that cleans up everything. Money. Money.
I already talked about how prolific BetterHelp used to be when it comes to
you have a problem? Money.
Sponsorships. But what I didn't say is
you have an
that
issue with someone? Money.
Getting paid something like $100 to $200 per sign up when they advertise the service.
And I think about this too. I feel like as a content creator, a streamer, and again, maybe people will knock me on this one because again, I've never, not like badge of honor because I actually don't agree with that, but like as a content creator, please read with who you're working with, what you're doing, what you're getting yourself into. Like, great example, you know, a little bit of a shill-in. We're going to be doing a charity tomorrow on the 15th, and we're going to be doing it for the American Heart Association. But I've done research on that. Well, to be fair, I don't have to do too much research since they're the ones that help me with my heart meds. So, but I know for a fact that the people that I'm working with are good. The people that I'm working with are good. I did a little bit of research with that, just saying. So I feel like it's almost like a duty for somebody that is sponsoring something to, like, I don't know, maybe do a little bit of research, especially when it comes to mental health. Because nowadays, everyone is convinced that y'all are crazy. And don't get me wrong, some of us are a little bit, just a little bit. But, you know, especially when it comes to someone's mental, kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. You want to sponsor Raid Shadow Legends or something that's like a video game or something for like VPNs and stuff, sure. But like someone's mental health, that's why it's called health. That's why it's called health. Maybe something that we should watch out for. Just saying. Just saying.
Some affiliate websites show a minimum
crazy
commission
ones.
of $100 per trial
Crazy
user,
ever since I
making
came out of the
an
womb.
extremely lucrative thing to advertise this mental health application and make it seem like a worthwhile service to use.
Which, by the way, if I read that correctly or heard him correctly, because you know I don't read, they said $100 a pop. So if you have a big audience, millions, right? You have a huge audience, and you do some kind of like sponsor for all that. That's a lot of extra money. So it's not like I don't blame the content creators. Like, listen, you like that money, I get it, and you got to pay for them bills, 100%. But that is a lot of fucking people. That is a lot of people that you're just shoving that right in their face. I mean, just makes sense to me. So we are working for evil people. I think in general, like we all are. We all are. Businesses, companies, like I think the ones that really hit, I think the best are like mom and pop shops. Now, clearly you can't have a mom and pop shop with this unless you're going to a specific person, and that, I guess you can say that that's their own personal, how should I say, that is their own personal like practice. So it's a whole different thing. But nonetheless, a lot of corpos, that's kind of just how it is. So it's something that we all kind of just, like, great example, like we all kind of just feed into, like again, Amazon. Amazon's probably not the best place in the fucking world, but I do be ordering from there a lot because it's very easy. It's very easy and it's very convenient. And that's what a lot of people forget. Convenience, and also just in general, like how the internet works. There's always some kind of new drama. Like, listen, just go off of like Twitter for like 5 seconds. Go on Twitter for 5 seconds, you'll see a new drama, you'll forget about another one. It's sad, but it's, I think someone in chat said it earlier. It's the attention spans that we all have. It's like, well, moving on. So it's unfortunate, but kind of how life is nowadays. Honestly, it's just how it is. It's unfortunate.
Well, that was then, and this is now. So, what precisely is connecting these 2 points in time? Answer: BetterHelp is connecting these 2 points in time because they are exponentially dialing up their advertising, once again, possibly relying on the fact that internet users have a very short attention span and
Exactly.
probably hoping to capitalize
Exactly.
on a younger
Moving on.
demographic of adolescent teenagers
Not
and
pre-watched,
early
but
young
it is true.
adults who have been aggressively told that their mental health is the most important thing ever in the history of the universe for the majority of their living lives.
And don't get me wrong, this is something that really does bother me. This is why I don't like this predatory practice, because I do think some people do need a little bit of assistance. Like a great example. Again, when I got out of like the military, I have been deployed. I've seen some shit. So I have a little bit of PTSD. I'm a little bipolar. I have some insomnia. Listen, I bet you all have something new every year. Because that tends to happen. It tends to happen. There's always like some fucking shit that happens that I like, never really did before, because I know my family, Hispanics. Let me just tell you this. Especially the Hispanic side of like things. My mom, like on the British side of things, she's always been very open to that. But like, let me tell you, my papa was pro against that. He would be like, "Oh, you got a problem? Just walk it off, bitch. Like, come on now, you're going to school." That was always like the same. That was always the same. But point is that like, it's not a bad thing. And with therapy, it's made it so I'm much, much, much better. I'm able to be here, talk about some of the shit, and it's like nothing. It's like whatever. I can talk about these things that I could not do it before. They used to really, it used to get me angry. I used to have a very, 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 very bad temper. I'm not sure if y'all can tell nowadays, but that was my issue. That was one of my big issues, but I had a lot of pent up issues. So when I see stuff like this and it fucks with people, it makes it so that nobody wants to ever do it. And it really, it's very conflicting, because I think it's very helpful and everyone would like to have someone to talk to. But, having it and doing it the right way is kind of a big deal.
Making them
Sorry,
not
I have
only
a lot
hyper-susceptible
on
to this, but also relatively uninformed.
I keep forgetting to turn those off.
Pay attention 6 years
Keep forgetting
ago,
to turn
when
those off.
BetterHelp
Fuck you, Chad.
initially encountered controversy on the platform, which was also pre-COVID, which allows them to capitalize even further on the dramatically increased tolerance people had.
People don't realize, even though I loved COVID, again, minus the whole I should probably like emphasize that. I love COVID because I got to be inside. I am a hermit. If I'm not working, I am streaming now, but I like kind of being inside. But a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people were like, hey, it kind of fucked with them. And even though that was like 4 years ago, they're still dealing with stuff like that. Kind of just how it is. So with that being said, it is something that companies like this can really fester on. They can manipulate and they can get their money off that, because people do have a lot of problems with that. It's more issues now than before then. People have always had issues, but COVID definitely did not help. Let's just say that.
Have for telehealth and remote medical solutions, which weren't nearly as popular before then.
Exactly.
According to research by the Out Loud group, BetterHelp went from sponsoring roughly 392 videos in third quarter 2022.
I've been seeing BetterHelp for a very, very, very long time when I watch like videos and stuff. So that's only from 2022. So I can only imagine what it used to be back in the day. So it must have been really little. So looking at this now, that is drastic. You can definitely tell that as the pandemic went through and as like the years have been going on, it has been pretty much expanding drastically. I moved my regional office to my house in 2020 and proved how much it saved my clients and never went back. That's good. Honestly, that's really good. Like, it's nice just to be indoors. I work from home now, so it's kind of nice. After stream, I can go right after work and it makes me happy. But not everybody likes that.
In the third quarter.
2,000. And it went from like what, 300 something to 2,000 within what, the year? Actually, hold on. Within the year. That is ridiculous. Oh, well, actually, hold on a minute. Less than the year, because that's quarter 2, not quarter 3. That is ridiculous.
2022, up to
I can't believe that.
636 in first quarter 2023, 1,237 in the second quarter, nearly.
I guess I should be able to believe that, but like, what a huge jump.
Increase over time.
What a huge jump.
10 times higher over the span of just 1 year.
Imagine that. People who prefer working at home actually having better productivity than the office. Well, I know some people that like when they're home, they cannot focus. They cannot focus. It's just something where like, hey, they're here. They were like, oh, well, what about cooking or the family or pets or hobbies or whatever? So some people can't. Just saying. But like, I know for me, this is like my comfy place. This is where I can like work on my work, my stream stuff now. After the last 3 years, it's been fantastic. Not to mention like, you know, school and stuff like that. That's just, this is where I can truly be creative and truly work. But like when I was back at my other job, I used to work for another company. We used to, more or less, I used to do like pails and lid stuff, but I was like the financial. I've always been good with numbers. That's the engineering. But like, you know, I always had to be in the office and I hated it. I was decent with the job, but I hated it. But to be fair, I didn't even realize that working from home was an actual option. Well, maybe not there, but like I know just in general, it's been very helpful for me personally.
Here. But seeing that made me wonder why. Why are they doing this now? And what's the reason to dial up advertising that much on a platform whose community previously ejected them with very little sympathy? Before going further, today's video is brought to you by Incogni. Incogni is all about online privacy and
I've always wanted to know, like
That's
VPN stuff and everything else. Sure, go for it.
Protecting your data
but
is
anything that involves people's mental health,
so. Every single day,
I don't like that. I don't think. Hold on a minute. I don't think sponsors and stuff like that are bad. If anything, you do you make your money. It's just, I think anything sponsor related that is dealing with people's mental or dealing with people's just in general, like living, the way that they live, the way that they do things, that's dangerous. That is dangerous, and I do not like that.
Third-party brokers or accessed without your knowledge and data breaches. Some people don't care, but they
guilty
should care.
I honestly probably should care, but I don't.
The number of identity theft victims has gone up over 41% since 2021. And for anyone who wants to prevent that kind of thing,
actually switch. We just dealt with someone with that actually. Nice try though.
Information
Listen, they tried to get us, but no.
Everywhere now, and not just in the archives of companies.
Don't be clicking random links, chat. Don't be clicking random links. Listen, Discord is like huge with that. Discord is huge with that. Don't do it. Don't do it. Listen, just don't. Rather not see you guys get hacked. Just saying.
Companies you know about or signed up for on purpose, but
links,
other data firms as
no
well,
links.
Who then sell it all across
no links. Just don't do it. Trust
the
me.
Internet. For everyday users, it's a nearly impossible task to take any action at all because there are hundreds of these data brokers, and it's a lengthy process to contact them, fight objections, and get something removed. However, Incogni does all of this for you quickly and easily.
Anybody have something like this? Does it work? I know, don't be clicking them random links. I can't tell you that enough. You know, don't be clicking that. You can click on my links when I send out my stream stuff, but that's about it. Everything else, that's a no-no. That's a no-no.
And they wanted to charge us.
Oh, and of course, I pressed the wrong button. And of course, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry, you know, as you guys know, I love watching my Aspen stuff. Okay, listen. Also, another thing.
They never addressed.
As you can tell too, like my freaking I have been lagging like crazy with all of my stuff. I don't know what it is. See, even if I tried to pause that, stop it. Stop it.
Thing that they decided to.
Oh God, hold on a minute.
1,237.
Sorry about that. Hold on a minute.
Nearly 2,000.
I think my computer needs updates.
What's the reason to dial up
but at the same time, like I haven't been doing it. I've been very busy. If anyone has been watching our streams lately, we've been doing lots of 24-hour streams.
Give them
so I'm sure that my computer needs a little bit of love. Needs a little bit of fucking love.
After that,
but shout out to Aspen. I love him. He gives me lots of ideas for videos and stuff. I do love him.
Otherwise, be an all-consuming and nearly impossible task for individuals, which is why so many people have so much information online that they never even know about.
Yeah, I was about to say, if anyone has this, I would love to know if this shit actually works.
60% off an annual subscription.
Some of these like interest me because I know that I'm a little.
The services they offer and the value they provide is
maybe I'm not the best when it comes to like maybe like not going on to not especially like sketchy sites, but like, you know, I'm sure my information is out there and it's not like, you know, if I'm able to clear that, that'd be great. That would be great.
So the question is why? Why would BetterHelp come back and dump that much money into YouTube right now? Well,
Money.
I dug around for a while, no luck here, no luck there, but finally I stumbled on something. CareDash. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, which is probably everyone, CareDash is a platform meant to connect people to various doctors, dentists.
DoorDash. That is all.
Artists and therapists, but I
Sounds
shouldn't say the
awfully
word
familiar.
is here because CareDash doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, it turns out CareDash was a fraud scheme that had been posting
No way. Something that's trying to help you on the internet, that's actually not a thing? Crazy. It blows my fucking mind.
profiles of real
Blows my mind.
physicians, clinicians, and therapists, most importantly, without their knowledge or consent.
I just can't believe, like, I guess like the thing that blows my mind a little bit is I just can't believe that like stuff like this is even possible. Because again, going through school and stuff like that, you need your certificate. You need all these things to be able to even do this stuff. You know? It's just, it blows my mind that that's even possible. Like, where do they even get like the startup saying like, hey, I'm allowed to do this? There's got to be somebody that runs the ship like, hey, that's a no-no. At least in the real world, you need a lot. You need a lot. So I'm just saying, as a network administrator on the Air Force for 6 years, I can confidently say that everyone should be using a VPN. Well, I'll have to maybe look into that eventually. I'll have to find one because apparently there's like 5,000 freaking VPN places. Like, it's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. It's one of those things where it's
That might
hard
seem
for me to even
strange,
know
but
where to
the
even start.
incentive is actually very, very straightforward. CareDash would host the profiles of real therapists, but then if someone tried to use their platform to actually book an appointment with that therapist, CareDash would say, oops, sorry, they're not accepting new
Oopsie.
people right now, and refer that potential customer directly to BetterHelp.
And I can understand when it comes to the whole, how should I say, when I was looking for my therapist, I had to go ahead and like, how should I say, like I was on a waiting list for lots of people. And then like, I don't know. So I can understand this. It looks awfully familiar, at least to me. So it's, you think you're in the right place and then it's like, no, bitch, actually, you're getting scanned right now. Also, Jay, thank you so much for the 50 gifted subs. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Switch, shut the fuck up. I hate you. Shh. Silencios. But yes, it is, it looks awfully familiar. So if anyone has been looking for like therapists and stuff like that, it's one of those things where it's like, they're pretty much running it through like the books. They'll try to put you guys on someone's list. But like, I guess in this situation, they're trying to fucking scam you, which is crazy. Not to mention, like, apparently CareDash sends you back over to, what the hell is it? For English is hard today. For better health. There we go, English. So with that being said, if they're connected, I'm surprised that one of them's gone, but not the other. You would think to yourself, like, hey, maybe they would both be out. You know what I mean? And Jay, thank you again so much for that. I really appreciate you. Please save your money, though. Thank you.
Try to stay with me here. I learned through an escalated federal lawsuit that CareDash was operated by a company called NewFit Media. And NewFit Media is a multi-million-dollar startup funded by a venture capital firm called Link Ventures. It's got all the typical bells and whistles, world-class partnerships, and strong and passionate creative teams, etc., etc. But if we compress it down to a basic point of reference here.
See, that's why I'm not entirely sure. And again, maybe it's just because I'm a stupid boomer that knows nothing about the internet. Or at least a little something. I'm just surprised that these companies can even be like functioning. Because again, if this one got canceled because it's like a fraud, but it's still connected to Better Health, how does that work? I just don't know how both of them can't, like, only one can be gone, but they, like, why not both? I'm surprised that they can like coexist that way. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's strange. Exactly. Money. Slacker said it. Money. That's what they told me, or that's what they said earlier. Money.
CareDash was a multi-million...
It might just be because of the internet and the rules of the internet. Listen, the only one that be making rules out there for like government, internet, stuff like that are old ass farts that know nothing about this. I mean, hell, I don't even know half the rules when it comes to this stuff. So like, you learn each day. You know what I mean? You learn each day.
$1 fraud.
Also, please thank your gifters if you got to get this sub. Please.
Use of therapist profiles.
That is really nice of you. Thank you.
BetterHelp, which was shut down in the first quarter of 2023. This is where
I wasn't trying to copy him. I didn't even realize he was going to say that.
my
Nice.
Chrome window
Good timing.
almost
Good
crashed
timing.
completely because I had so many tabs open. And yeah, turns out that BetterHelp...
See, he's not the only one that has a bunch of tabs. He's not. Listen, I'm not the only one that has a bunch of fucking tabs. Just saying. So don't be making fun of me, Chad.
Is
Don't be making fun of
actually a
me.
wholly owned
No
subsidiary
pre-watch.
acquired
No
by a
fucking
company called
pre-watch.
Teladoc in
You can't say pre-watch and try to copy the same words. Thank you very much. He said they hire people that do know that they can choose not to act because they're abusing our lack of security themselves. Most our countries have laws about this shit. Might just be America then. America being fucking crazy.
in 2015.
I know that like we're allowed to do gambling and a bunch of other stuff. So like maybe it's just how we do things. Again, if someone wants to educate me with stuff like that, I would love that. I would love that because I don't know a lot about this. But what I do know is therapy. I do know therapy, and I do know that online maybe not the best choice. Maybe not the best choice, I'm just saying.
Teladoc is a publicly traded company, thankfully, which means they have to disclose financials. So theoretically, I should be able to check
You have
what's happening.
247
and
tabs
presto
open.
goes the dynamite. Yes, I can.
I have like maybe
in the
like
second
Betty.
quarter of 2023, shortly after the closure of CareDash, which was funneling customers directly to BetterHelp through a multi-million-dollar startup platform, and directly before they started exponentially increasing their advertising push on YouTube here, Teladoc disclosed that BetterHelp had roughly 476,000 paying users. However, in the fourth quarter
That is a lot. That is a lot. If that's just from one quarter, I can only imagine how it is for the year. I can only imagine how much it is for the year.
of 2023, as BetterHelp is approaching a 10 times higher amount of advertising on YouTube. Again, according to research from the Out Loud group, Teladoc disclosed that the number of paying users for the platform had actually
I'm not talking about VPN switch. I'm talking about this, you goober.
decreased to 425,000. That may seem small, but it's actually about 50,000 users, and it's over 10%
That's a
of
lot.
their entire customer
That
base.
is a lot.
From my perspective, based on the information I've collected so far, it seems like the company is desperately trying to make up for the loss of CareDash, which was benefiting them tremendously as a primary user intake method through their affiliate program, despite not being directly associated with BetterHelp as a company.
I was just thinking about what he said earlier about the whole like affiliate program. Like he was saying $100 a pop per person that signs up. That is a lot. So again, when it comes to like YouTubers and all the well, I guess Twitch too, huh? I don't know if people will be doing this for like Twitch and stuff like that. You know what it reminds me of? And Twitch brings up like a really good like point. It's like a pyramid scheme. Like ain't nobody, like actually I think I had a cousin that was doing like a pyramid scheme stuff. I'm not sure if he knew. He probably didn't know. He probably didn't know. But like it's crazy to me. It's like a cult. I shit you not. It's like a cult.
Company. And they're
Thanks for the
bleeding
follows, guys.
subscribers
Thank you.
every single day as they funnel money back into YouTube, hoping that people have somehow forgotten who they are. That's
Because people have a short attention span. Because people have a short attention span and they're like, I don't know. Drama, they'll probably forget. Stuff like this, they'll probably forget. And you know what? At least from what they have been telling us here, it's that they did. Again, I didn't even I remember seeing this years ago, and then it kind of vanished away, at least from what I saw. And now it is back. Now it is back.
That's my guess. Thankfully, there's a couple more pieces of the puzzle here that tie everything
He said
together
it's a
quite
cult that
nicely.
they are connected by
let's go
money
over
instead of
those
faith.
before doing
It's all about money nowadays. It's really hard to find someone that's very genuine. Because at the end of the day, if it fills their pocket, they don't got to worry about nothing. Money is the root of all evil, and they really say that. I am convinced that money for me, if you have enough to be able to live, maybe like some emergency funds, maybe like 3 or 4,000, and enough to be able to get the things that you want, nothing crazy. That's happiness there. Just having enough. Well, the rest of it, I'm just like, whatever. Everyone's different, but that's my way of living when it comes to like money purposes.
doing a final summary. In July of 2023, BetterHelp was officially charged and penalized for sharing health questionnaire answers and other data with advertisers. It's a paltry sum, to be completely honest,
Because they take your data, whatever you tell them, just like other companies like Facebook, and they just give it over to ads. That's pretty much it. Ads run the world. That's why when I think about like Twitch and stuff like that, they really try to push like 7,000-8,000 fucking ads. Again, granted, the streamer can control a little bit of that. Not everything. Like great example, I have my ads at the absolute fucking shortest. But at the same time, there's still at least probably one out there. But some people can do like 7, 8, 9. I'm not entirely sure where the limit is, but it's a mess. It's a mess. Use an ad blocker for my stream. That's all I gotta say about that. Listen, I would like to have the experience here as badass and as chill as possible. Like literal fucking boner killer is when an ad just gone. And you don't know what the hell is even going on. It's a mess. It really is.
Whatever $1 million. Affected users, of which there are roughly 800,000, are getting less than $10 each, while the company seems to spend more on YouTube advertising in a single year.
By the way, you saw what they showed earlier about the whole 8%. What was it like? They gave back 93 million, like back to users that were doing like refunds and stuff. So 7.8 is fucking nothing. Literally, probably like less than 1%. Just drop. It's a mess.
Within the entire fine demand.
It's like they don't even care.
Regardless, it gives a foot in the door to see what's
Imagine
really
having
going on.
7.8 million as
Despite
just
representing to consumers that BetterHelp would keep
so much
consumers'
money.
information private and only use their information for non-advertising purposes.
That's why you go to a real therapist, because they are, by law, they cannot talk about anything. They cannot talk about anything that you bring up unless it is to hurt somebody. If you're like, hey, so-and-so, I want them to die, and I'm going to do it, then they're allowed to say something. But by law, by like literal, like the law, by literal, like the, how should I want to say it? The therapist creed, if you want to say, they can't say nothing. They can't say nothing. You can talk about them with whatever, but apparently they're just giving it all out, which is fucking awful. Fucking awful.
BetterHelp used
Stuff
and
like this,
disclosed
seeing it just
information
like bothers me
obtained
a
from
lot.
consumers through the intake questionnaire and sign-up process for advertising, end quote. So they lied about the data policies,
Mental
told
health
their
for
user base, we won't use
advertising.
this information, and
Terrible.
then turned around immediately and used it for advertising. Awesome. But it gets better, or
Ooh.
it gets funnier, maybe. That's probably the wrong word.
This
These are
gets
serious
very
topics,
worse.
I know, but consider this. In 2018, CEO Elon Musk published a Medium post
You just had to make fun of like the name. Alone. Sounds like Elon.
that said, quote, one of the favorite conspiracy theories was that our business model is selling data to third parties.
You ever have it? You ever have an ex where like they get on you for like cheating or for, you know, all the bad inside of the relationship, like, hey, you're cheating, or hey, you're doing this or this, and come to find out that that's what they're doing. Pretty much the same thing. They're like, this doesn't happen. Come on now. If anything, it's your, like, this is what you guys are fucking thinking. So clearly you must be like doing something wrong. It's like, no. You know, if anything, this happened with me and my ex-wife. Just, you know, maybe just with business. Just a little different.
This is such a far-fetched conspiracy that I feel awkward addressing it. Our model is
Awkward
simple.
addressing it.
Members pay a fee to get counseling. Counselors are paid to provide counseling. We are in the counseling business, not in the data business. There is nothing we take more seriously than the security and privacy of our members.
Yeah,
it also
fucking
goes
right.
without saying that counseling is a strictly regulated space, and selling such data would be a gross violation of federal laws.
If people actually listen to what they're fucking saying, what they're writing, then we live in a better world. But again, money. People don't give a fuck. At least online, from what I have seen, people do not give a fuck. So
State
it's
laws,
unfortunate.
HIPAA regulations, and our own terms and privacy policy, end quote. Okay. Conspiracy theory, hardly even worth responding to, I guess, according to one of the founders. But
Exactly.
from 2013 to
Whatever
2020,
they can do to
according
make
the now
themselves look
settled
better.
FTC investigation, docket C4796, the service was, quote, continually breaking privacy promises, monetizing consumers' health information to target them and others with advertisements for the service. For example, from 2018 to 2020, respondent used these consumers' email addresses and the fact that they had previously been in therapy to instruct Facebook to identify similar consumers and target them with advertisements for the service, bringing in tens of thousands of new paying users and millions of dollars in revenue.
Keep gaslighting them. You'll keep making money.
As a result.
It's unfortunate.
End quote.
And again, this is a lot of times when people are coming to the site, these are people that are weak, having a weak moment. They're wanting some assistance. They have probably heard from a friend or like maybe a streamer or YouTuber or whatever, whoever they look up to. Like, hey, this is important. This has helped me. And again, I am one of those people where I'm like, hey, this has helped me. Like something that I truly stand for. Not this. Real life therapy. This is very important that you guys know the difference, and you guys know the difference.
Oopsie. So BetterHelp is
I picked a good tiny deposit. That's
growing
perfect.
just fine while ignoring basic data protection and privacy. But then, after the practice is discontinued, and
You love
after an
that, chat?
openly criminal affiliate of
I'm good
theirs
at that.
no
I got
longer
you.
funnels patients to them with fraudulent profiles, that's when they suddenly take a nosedive and start hemorrhaging customers. Correlation does not necessarily equal causation, but
Mhm.
I mean, come on. It actually goes even deeper. According to an
Well, I bet.
investigation by Jezebel, which monitored traffic from the BetterHelp application and
And you know, it'll just keep getting deeper and deeper with things. But you know what? Here's the thing. They paid a fine. And at least from the money that we saw them getting just for the quarter, actually, you know, just for, what was it, from quarter 3 to quarter 2, so not even the full year, they're making bank. So they don't even care. 8% of that was like, what, 93 million or something? So like, that's a lot. They don't care. They'll just keep going.
then compared some of it to associated personal data records.
They'll just find a way. They will find a way to do it better, to be sneakier. Again, just like a cheat next. They will always find a way to make it a little bit sneakier, a little bit easier.
From Facebook. From the moment the intake questionnaire was filled out, quote, BetterHelp began to silently slip data to dozens of third parties, monitoring our behavior online and
So
signaling
many.
to companies like Facebook, Google, Snapchat, and
Listen,
Pinterest.
Facebook really
we were
bad with it.
considering BetterHelp
Facebook
treatment.
really
Further
bad with
down,
it. Just
quote,
saying.
During a session with a therapist, we found that metadata from every message, though not its contents, was also sent to the social media.
When they talk about the therapist, I wonder if they're talking about the not qualified ones. I cannot believe that was an inside their text. Like, in their standing, even though they fucking wiped it, it's like, hey, we're not qualified. And I bet you they're still fucking doing it. Are they still around? I'm assuming so. Since we're going over this. Some people go over this stuff like when they're done and done. But I'm assuming they're still fucking kicking it. That's my guess. Yes? Okay, see that's what I thought. Fuck Facebook. Listen, I don't go on no Facebook. Me and social media are not friends. Listen, the only reason why I'm even on like Twitter is for art and supporting my friends. That is about it. That's it. Other than that, drama, toxicity, boom, 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 boom. It is kind of funny to go on and to be able to. One thing I will say about social media is that if you ever want to feel better about yourself, just go around, just start coasting around. Go look for some of that drama. See what people say. See some of the dumb shit that people fucking say. And then you're like, hey, at least that's not me. That's why I always think that people come and watch my stream. They're like, wow, at least I'm not her. So that's
Media
nice.
company, meaning that Facebook knew
Makes you
what
feel
time
better.
of day we were going to therapy, our approximate location, and how long we were chatting on the app. When we asked about this directly, BetterHelp declined to elaborate on why a social media company needed to know quite
That
so much
tasteful
about
Twitter
when
art.
and
Listen,
how
my Twitter
we
art
were
is
asking
nice.
for help, details that were connected to our Facebook profiles and thus our identities, end quote. That's a lot, but let's do a summary here. BetterHelp, a prominent and very prolific YouTube sponsor in the 2018 years, was paying enormous affiliate fees and raking in tens of thousands of users.
Apparently, just from last year. And again, that was from what we saw earlier. And I like to be able to like go back to that. That was 1,999. What is it like? I'm assuming like channels compared to like their last year, like quarter was like 324. So that is a huge jump. So I don't know. That's ridiculous to me.
Users until the community caught wind of what they truly were and basically ousted them. In subsequent years, they collected data from their user base, used and distributed that data illegally to advertise with social media companies, got caught for it, and paid a fine, while also benefiting from the illegal traffic of a multi-million-dollar medical startup that was impersonating therapists. The FTC
Impersonating. That to me is crazy. Again, somebody that is still going through school. Eventually I'll get there once I quit my job. And then do more of this full time. But anyway, it bothers me.
Data. CareDash got taken down by the FTC as well after a complaint by the NASW. And right after
I was about to say somebody had to have complained about this. Somebody. They'd be like, hey, this looks a little sketchy. This looks a little sketchy. But then again, your guys' voices, even though I feel like it's not as big for the government, like, listen, you try to do your votes and stuff for that, at least me personally, it's not going to matter. But when it comes to stuff like this, your vote does matter. Your say does matter. So it's like, hey, do it. I mean, great example, when we were talking about like the Sony and the whole Helldivers thing, you're saying actually mattered, and eventually fucking PlayStation finally woke up, mainly because they were getting tons of fucking flack, which honestly, good, get them.
This happens, BetterHelp starts bleeding tens of thousands of subscribers.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, they start massively dialing up their YouTube advertising campaigns, including the number of videos that they actively sponsor, because what? Time to try it all again? As if the YouTube community isn't...
Because it all goes back down in a circle. Because people forget, so might as well just go all the way back around again. Just like a fucking circle. And people forget and they keep moving on. And again, a lot of the times either A, they forgot, or B, money.
Gonna remember who you are and what you did on top of the other stuff you just did in the meantime while trying to make a comeback? Really? That's the plan? I can't say for sure.
But it works. Listen, if I wasn't like, you know, try to do better, be fucking better, and, you know, just in general try to make that good vibe in the good place as a person, listen, I could fucking do all this and it would just be like nothing. If I didn't have a conscience, like, this would be simple, easy, and to scam people, it'd be nothing. When I was younger, I did. People are... Some people are pretty dumb. Some people are pretty fucking dumb. And it's real easy to be able to just be like, hey, boom, I can do this, and nobody will give a shit. Nobody will give a shit. But again, as I got a little bit older, I'm like, maybe I shouldn't do that. You know, I think what it was when I had kids. When I had kids, it was one of those things where I'm like, I wouldn't want this to happen with my kids. So then I was like, you know what? Maybe it's time to, like, I don't know, grow the fuck up. Hi, Rosie. How you doing?
And I don't have absolute certainty, but what I see is a company trying to weasel its way back into the ecosystem,
Always.
And I'm not having it. Please let people know. Please make other creators aware that while sponsorships are perfectly fine, of course,
Exactly.
I do understand people need money. If they can, it's probably best to find a sponsor that's a little bit more reputable than BetterHelp.
Not only reputable, but something that makes it so, I don't know, doesn't involve people's mental health. Again, you've seen people around the world, you've probably seen it on your news, probably seen it on our like freaking timelines. When people's mental health gets too low, when people's mental health gets too fucking low, shit happens. People die, like, people get hurt. There's a lot of situations where you're like, hey, by the way, like, everyone's getting, I guess more or less everyone's getting hurt other than the companies. The companies don't care. The companies do not care, but at the end of the day, you should care. And I know a lot of people think to themselves, like, one person, it's not really going to matter. And you know what? It's one little droplet inside of, like, I guess the jar, but it can help even a little bit. You know, what you do can, I guess, more or less get put to others. People see these things and they're like, hey, maybe I should do a little bit better. So it does have an effect all around. So that's kind of how I see it,
because
though.
pretty much any
it is tough,
YouTube
though.
sponsor
It is tough.
is...
It is easier to be bad than being good. Like, I'm telling you, it is easier to just go with the flow and be a little piece of shit than actually be good.
more reputable than BetterHelp. I don't normally ask this, but please share the video around. If you want to support,
Switch,
there's
thank
links
you for
down
the
below.
gifted subs, by the
Protect
way.
your
Thank
data
you,
with
thank you.
Incogni, kind of a perfect sponsor for this one. Locals and Patreon for monthly memberships, etc., etc. But I'll
Nice
cut
little
it there and stop
transition there. I like
As
that.
always, thank you all for watching. Question everything, and have a nice night.
You should. You should question everything. You know, we live in a time where it's very easy. It's very simple to be able to get hacked, to be manipulated. And it's not saying that like it wasn't like that before, but now you can pretty much get it both ways. Like, you chill on the internet, you watch YouTube videos, you watch streamers. Like, people say a lot of things. Make sure to double check things. Again, I said this earlier, but we're going to do a charity for tomorrow, by the way, if you want to come see. But like, I've done a lot of research on that. I also did last year for like the Wounded Warrior stuff, even though I already knew they were good because of, you know, military and whatnot. God, my stutter is really bad today. But like, I did research. I did stuff for this. What was it, for the Silver Light Children's one? I did that. Like, it's good to do research, whether it's for charity stuff, whether it's for companies that are trying to help you with certain things. Like, double check. Like, you never know. But yeah, really good video. I wanted to go over this because, like, again, somebody that has been at least through a few years of therapy, not finished yet because I need to go back to school, but like has already done at least a little bit of this, seen some of this, like blows my mind how much money that they are making. And not to mention, I think the one that really, really, really blew my mind was the whole like, hey, these are not certified people, FYI. And I'm just like, excuse me, that makes absolutely no sense. That, and also the whole like, hey, we're giving away your info. It's kind of against the law, just saying. So the fact that they're still kicking and moving and still fucking making money blows my mind. So I like this video. Again, please go check out Upper Echelon. They are really good. I've actually been watching them for a while. I was saying this earlier, by the way. Go check out their video, give them a follow, give them a like. They're really cool. I like them. Plus, not to mention, like, I've been watching them since they were doing the Division like videos, which, by the way, I think it's so cool to see people transitioning to content that they really like. So very neat. I like them. And again, check them out. I think this video was really, really, really good. So, and it kind of hit home. So I like this. It was good.